What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Counter. Now, James and I with HB Pharmacy and Gaspar's Best, we've done Facebook Live videos about CBD. We've done seminars at the pharmacy about CBD. We've done webinars on the internet about CBD. We've done basically all kinds of conversations, not to mention all the people we've talked to individually, too.
Right.
So we thought for this episode, since CBD is such a common topic for stress, anxiety, sleep, and that's what we're talking about this season on Behind the Counter, we would go through some of our frequently asked questions about CBD, since CBD is so popular these days for dealing with exactly the things that we're talking about in this season of Behind the Counter. So let's get right into the questions. What exactly is CBD, James?
So CBD comes from hemp plant, and that's where you see the hemp extract instead of CBD oil. The hemp is a family of the marijuana plant, and they will extract the medicinal part out, which are all the different CBD or cannabinoids, phytocannabinoids, and they will whip it up into a tincture or a pill, salve, and many different products that I've seen out there. So the difference is that there's CBD isolate, and there is broad spectrum, and there is full spectrum hemp extract. So CBD is just one type of the phytocannabinoid that will work on our system. Broad is few of those, and then full spectrum is all of them, which are CBD, CBN, CBL, CBDA, CBG, CBC,
Right.
THC, and THC is pretty well known
Sure.
for its effect of making people get addicted or gives
High
that high and
whatever,
euphoric
exactly.
feeling. Yes.
Now
whatever
this
term you
won't.
use.
This is the legal limit, which is less than 0.3%
Right.
THC per the 2018 Farm Bill. But essentially the difference between all of those is that all the cannabinoids have different benefits associated with them.
Yes.
So taking fewer of the cannabinoids or taking CBD as an isolated cannabinoid, you're missing out on a lot of benefits, and also all of those things working together gives something called the entourage effect, which kind of increases the effect of using the CBD, essentially.
Yep.
Now, you talked about something there, too. I see hemp seeds at the grocery store all the time. What
I
is
do,
the
too.
difference? Is that CBD, essentially, am I taking there?
Right, there is actual like hemp seed oil by itself right next to olive oils now sometimes, right? So those oils are actually not for these medicinal purposes that what we're seeking. They're a great source of omega-3, however, or some in proteins, right?
Sure.
But you won't get the same effect by using those into food, or even just drinking. I wish people would do that, but
Yeah.
you won't get the same effect with that. The reason on that is the hemp seed extract actually is extremely important with their delivery system because it's very fragile, I like to call it. The delivery system is important so that it doesn't get destroyed when you take it into the body.
Right.
So that's why either pill form is good, or the tincture so that it absorbs in the mouth is good, or salve by topical route.
Right. So that's a good point, too, because I think there's nothing more expensive than spending money or wasting money on something that is actually not going to work and be effective.
Right.
So I hear all over the news and the media about CBD, and people come in here all the time asking, like, oh, I've heard about this. Like, what is this? Blah, blah, blah. And they're expecting a cure-all fix to say, oh, this is going to do everything. And honestly, trust, objectivity, that was important to my grandfather when he started HB Pharmacy in the 60s. It's still important to us today, and that's kind of our credo behind Gaspar's Best. But we'll be
Absolutely.
the first to tell you not to use something if we think it's not going to work for you. Even the other day, someone came in with a mechanical issue in their shoulder, and we recommended going to see a physical therapist.
Right.
That's not going to heal your sholdder.
CBD is not gonna is not a cure-all, and that's the major problem that I see as well as a pharmacist. I mean, this at a high dose obviously can affect the liver. I mean, does that mean it's dangerous? Not really. For example, Tylenol, acetaminophen that we commonly take for pain. If you take high doses of that can also cause liver issue as well. However, it's really important that you speak to the, more informed professionals regarding this matter. This law just passed at the end of last year.
Right.
It's very new and there's a lot of hype. If I drive around highways now, I see, gas
billboards,
stations.
gas stations, grocery
Absolutely,
stores.
they all have it.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. It's all over the place. So it is good for stress, anxiety, pain, inflammation. There are some proven things. More and more research is being done. They're researching a lot on, like you mentioned earlier, the delivery mechanism and how this is actually delivered, the effects of it, the toxicity. There's still a lot of research going on, so we're here to kind of help you take it in the safest way possible. Now, being a pharmacy, we get a lot of patients who are taking anxiety medication or pain medication and now are trying to take this with the intention of getting off their medication or taking less of the medication, which is a good thing. We want, especially for medication that can cause a dependency. So from your perspective as a pharmacist, what do you recommend to patients in terms of, do they not take their medication? Do they take down their dosage? Do those things work together, interact? What's your perspective on that?
First of all, what I've noticed, especially with the medication that you just mentioned, a lot of customers, patients that I see, they don't like taking these pills.
Right.
They're against it. They feel bad taking them, and they take it because their body kind of has to at that point.
Right.
At the same time, when I recommend our full spectrum hemp extract, I make sure that I tell them this is not a replacement for your medications. Okay. There are good days where you don't feel like you need the medication, versus there are bad days that you may need a little more. And it's really, really difficult to find a balance for that. And that's where CBD oil or our hemp extract come in to give that little bit of an adjunct help. There are people definitely have reduced their numbers of their pills or reduced the dosage ever since started taking the CBD. So that is a possibility, but at the end, what we're looking for is something else that's not addictive, that doesn't have all crazy side effects, that can help with just a little bit of better sleep at night.
Right.
So that's what we're looking for.
I think too, adding on to that, like as a practitioner, we're always looking for what is the root cause of this? What is the root cause of your anxiety or your sleeplessness or your pain? Sometimes things just are what they are, right? Like, I unfortunately was in an accident and hurt my arm in that accident. There's clearly some kind of issue right there. Or stress and anxiety wise, we were talking to someone within the last few weeks who they're just the way she described her situation at home and her life, that kind of stuff, that's an extreme amount of stress. Some of these things can help, and it's not that they won't help in any capacity, but ultimately if you're trying to eliminate that stress or reduce that stressor, you need to address that, and there are this is a supplementary product that can help in those ways. It's not necessarily going to be a cure-all, fix-all. If you have some stuff going on in your life, this is not going to change the fact that you have stuff going on in your life,
And from personal point of view, I do take the CBD oil on a daily basis. I take it for anxiety purposes, sleep purposes, whatever that might come across my way, and I tell them I do the same thing to myself. This is it's not a cure-all.
Right.
I still have to work for it.
Right.
I still have to dim the lights.
This is not going to stop your daughter from crying at 2 in the morning,
I will still be up, even though it's the CBD. If she's crying, my baby's crying, I'll be up all night, caring for her. So that's not for that. It's more for, you need a little bit of a nudge. A little bit of from supplement perspective, it is what it is. It's exactly what it is, supplement.
Right.
So don't have such a crazy high expectation that this is going to be a life, changing.
Right.
Experience.
I know it's all over Amazon reviews and that kind of stuff like that, and it can really help. And there are some cases where it is really helpful. I take it myself for anxiety, stress, even inflammation, and I've knee pain and that kind of stuff. It's great for that. It helps those kinds of things. But ultimately, those, there is a root cause for some of those kinds of things to go away entirely. You know what I mean? It's good for management. Like, for example, if I stopped exercising, sure, my knee pain would go away, but I don't want to do that, so this will help manage it. You know what I mean? It's not going to make it go away, essentially. Here's another question. How do I take this? So this is an oil here. I just put a dropper in my food or something, or do a couple drops here and there, drop.
So that's actually one of the common questions we actually get, and I have had customers, after extensive explaining, say, it's not working. As you just saw here, you just hold this for a second. Sir. When we say dropper full, it's literally the whole drop, like all these liquid that's coming down right now. I don't know if you can see it. It's not just this 1, 2, 3 drops that you see here.
Right.
Because, so what you do is you take the whole dropper full, and then you'll put them under your tongue, and then sit.
For about a minute. and hold it there. Someone get the Jeopardy music going. No, just kidding. But yeah, so essentially you do that. Now, there are two different, that's one way of taking it, essentially, if you're going to do that way. And it's important to hold it there for a minute so it actually is absorbed properly. The other way we have is through these soft gels. So these soft gels are designed to, work by getting digested, essentially. So really there's no difference. Well, the only difference really would be that this takes a little bit longer because it has to go through your entire system and get metabolized versus getting absorbed directly through your mucosal membrane in your mouth. That's really the only difference in that sense. Some people have said that they have some digestive issues when they take the gel versus taking this. I've heard that a couple times. It's always hard to tell with those. It's hard to know, like, oh, what else did you eat that day? That kind of stuff too.
That is pretty rare. And when we followed up, for the most part, people ended up tolerating the capsule and ended up keep taking it because you're right. Sometimes just because something brand new system into your body, and if you're little, if your body's not used to it, that I guess kind of surprised them a little bit.
Sure.
But overall, it's very well tolerated.
Sure. So how do I know that this is what it says it is?
Well, it has a certificate of analysis, and it has a Q code here. You can use your phone now, your smartphone, take a picture of it, and then it will send you to a link, and you will just have to enter the lot number right in it. Lot number meaning that this is the batch, which batch that was made, and it will give the whole list of all the full spectrum, the cannabinoid chemicals that we had mentioned before.
Right.
Will be right on there, basically saying that it has what it claims that it has.
Sure. Now, something that this is Ananda Professional, which is the brand that we carry here at HB Pharmacy and also online at gasparsbest.com. It tests for potency and the number of cannabinoids and all that kind of stuff like James mentioned. But another thing that they test for that is great is heavy metals. So hemp as a plant is great when it's growing at absorbing heavy metals from the ground, lead and all other things of that nature, which obviously you don't need me to tell you, you don't want to be eating that kind of stuff. So the fact that they test for those kind of things because hemp as a plant is, very good at absorbing those things is a good thing because it kind of shows you a measure of the quality of the growing conditions in which the hemp was grown before it was extracted to an oil and put into a bottle, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of places don't do that. So it really is important to be careful and do your research when it comes to CBD or honestly supplements in general because you really don't know exactly what happened in order to get this into here. Right. And can I trust that they did what they said they did and that they did it in a safe way?
Sure.
So those are things to keep in mind when you're looking at any CBD product or any product really for that matter. What else? What's another common question that we get?
Well, now I've taken this. Am I going to get high now?
Okay, that's a good one.
We do get that a lot. I guess fortunately / unfortunately, no, it's not going to make me high. It does, even though it does have a trace amount of THC in it, it's purely used for the purpose of the medicinal use. It actually, now, I guess the real question is, will it come out on your drug test?
Okay, good question.
You get drug tested at work for whatever purposes. There can be possible false positives. It can be. So basically what that means is,
I think the dogs are irritated about the false positives.
I know. Right? So when they do testing, generally so by urine testing, it does have a trace amount of THC and it does build up in your system a little bit, in your fat especially. So if you've been taking this for a long time, that can cause that. It can come out false positive. However, my recommendation is to request a confirmation test, and usually they'll bring it out to negative. Because it depending on, and now I know there's things out there that are THC-free version. We have that as well.
Right.
That doesn't actually make it more, I mean, yes, it will reduce chance of the false positive even more, but there is still possibility because all these chemicals that I mentioned before, CBD, CBN, THC, they're very, very similar at the chemical structural level. So the drug test can mistakenly take one over the other as positive.
I think another important thing to mention for that too, if you're not drug tested frequently by work or whatever reason, fine. But if you are, I think it's important to kind of be proactive about those kinds of things if CBD is something that you're going to take. If not, there are other products out there that can be helpful for sleep, stress, that kind of stuff too. But if you are, I think it's helpful to be proactive about it and say to your employer, whomever, hey, just so you know, before I'm even going into this test, I'm taking this product, this is what I'm doing. blah, 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 blah. If you feel comfortable doing that, of course. You know, talking about it in that sense is a good way to, oh, well, someone is, you know, part of this routine, their pharmacist recommended this, their doctor recommended this, that kind of stuff too. To me, transparency is always just a good thing.
Absolutely.
So,
It is pretty new. I mean,
Yeah.
the law just passed in the last year. I actually get a frequent questions from the doctor's offices,
Sure.
especially pain management offices, because they do a lot of urine testing for many other
Right.
products out there, right? And that was something that was actually a little bit of controversy.
Right.
Is someone actually smoking what's illegal versus are they just using CBD oil?
Right.
Those testings are definitely being updated now by many different practitioners and by workplaces. So I am hoping as the time passes on, there will be a less problem with these type of
Sure.
questions.
That actually reminds me another question that we get sometimes. Is this safe? So
That's
at
a
a
great
high
question.
level, is this safe?
That's a great question. And when you read many different news out there, you get conflicting
Right.
type of different information about
Sure.
it. The studies that I've read, and the research articles that I've seen, up to 15 milligram, that's 1,500 milligram per day, who someone who's taken that, still has faced no side effects. Versus there was a mice study that was done, and they were dying.
Right.
And that's obviously very alarming.
To put it in
and
perspective,
scary.
this bottle right here is 600 milligrams. So you would almost need to do 2.5 of those to get 1,500 milligrams,
Right,
which is
just
what he was
chugging
saying.
it.
2.5 of these.
Right,
Yeah.
the whole bottle, which is definitely we don't recommend that whatsoever. However, with the mice study, when I actually read into it a little more, they were taking almost 3,000, 4,000 milligrams of this, and they're a lot smaller than we are.
Really?
And right? I mean, depends.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ones that you see in the subways.
New York or
I'm
yeah.
a little
Right.
scared by that, but at that level, as I mentioned before, I don't know if I mentioned this before actually, it does have issue with possible liver toxicity at a high level. And some prescription medications that has CBD will warn people about that. High doses of this can cause liver toxicity. So that was the prime reason why those mice died. Well, if you're taking that much of anything in that
Right.
aspect will cause issues. Perfect example would be Tylenol. If I take that much Tylenol, proportion to what those mice were getting of Tylenol, I would be in hospital as well. So it's very important to talk to your professionals about possible dosing. And dosing can be very different depending on someone with
Sure.
seizure, someone with tremor,
Sure.
someone with anxieties, stress, mood, memory.
And also functionally, like, are you trying to take it at night? Can I take it during the day?
Right.
How does it, you know what I mean? So there's so many different variables. It's important to talk to a practitioner who is, educated in this to get a better feel for, specifically to you, what your dosage should be.
I mean, I'm just like everyone who's watching this. I'm taking this myself as well. I'm a consumer as well, and I try to keep myself updated on daily basis as best as possible. So as of right now, I think I feel pretty safe to say this product is safe.
Right.
Now, when that doesn't happen later on, right, when we see a new different studies, oh my goodness, this actually caused this type of problem. That's where we come in, and we will also inform everybody who's taking our product and who has questions for us, that I'll be able to explain to them that
Right.
there might be some side effects.
Going off that too, on the safety component, the FDA actually has not really released much of a stance on it whatsoever. And they're doing more research for any supplement product. There's research, for a lot of things out there, because you would have to go through the same amount of research to make clinical claims. Like drugs, you have to say, oh, well, there's double-blind studies and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. So the FDA, none of that exists. So
Right.
the FDA is trying to do more research and release guidance related to it as well. I do know that New York state law has changed recently, and in New York, this is 2019, a few months ago, they released an ordinance that it is no longer allowed as an additive in food, which means in the teas, all
Right.
of that kind of stuff, because it's different when you look at something as a food ingredient and where the heck is this coming from, what's the potency, versus something that is as a dietary supplement. But technically speaking, it's not even approved by the FDA as a supplement in that sense necessarily.
It's very misleading, and
Yeah.
we talked about hemp seed oil, and I've seen online when I was doing my research, gummies are
Right.
very, very popular, and they're claiming that one gummy has 150 milligram of this thing, and that's
Right.
we have a 300 milligram for a whole bottle, which, you know,
Right.
I would be number one, as I said, concerned with the liver toxicity, almost praying, I'm hoping that they're lying and they don't have 150 milligram in one gummy bear. And they ask, people take 2-3 a day. It's, most likely that's probably not true. Most
Right.
likely it probably doesn't have that much in that per gummy. And if it does, then that's pretty
Sure.
bad for you too. So you don't want that.
I think something that's really important to us, and it's kind of been our credo at the pharmacy and with Gaspar's Best, and it's something that's just important to me from a nutrition perspective as well, is it just educating yourself as a consumer is one of the most important things that you can do, and that's why we started the show and why we do a lot of what we do is to help educate you guys to make an objective decision. Hey, is this something I want to try? Is this something that might work for me? All of that kind of stuff. So keeping yourself informed and educated. I mean, we'll be the first to tell you not to take something if we think
we are
that it
consumers
won't help
too.
you. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then we have no problem with saying something's not right for them. We'll say absolutely not.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we want to take less things.
Right.
Right. We are definitely all for changing our lifestyle. Eating healthy diet, exercising, and hopefully limiting a lot of these things to feel better and be healthy.
But if you are going to take them, look at the ingredients list and try to educate yourself. That's what we're here for. Ask us questions too. But try to educate yourself. What is this? What am I putting in my body? What is it exactly going to do? The truth is, and the reason you see a lot of conflicting information, because there's a lot of the times we don't know exactly. There haven't been enough studies or research and that kind of stuff too. Is there anything else you want to add? Any other common questions you can think of that we get about this?
Just to reiterate, this is not a miracle drug, or a drug rather altogether. It's not going to make all your problems go away. However, there are very convincing articles that I have read, case reports that I've seen, and just from common practice of being here every day, talking to our customers who are taking this, I feel pretty safe that it's pretty good idea to just give it a try and make sure you speak to one of us before you give it a second thought about it. Make sure that you're well informed, as we said. So because at the end of the day, we want to live better. We want to be more happier and healthier. So
Cool. Well, I hope you guys found that informative. If you do have any questions or anything else that we haven't answered, check out our information at hbpharmacy.com or gasparsbest.com. Thank you again for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next episode of Behind the Counter.
Thank you.